Never had a friend like me.
The game is Aladdin for the Super Nintendo. This Aladdin game was made by Capcom and released for the Super Nintendo. But in the same year, another Aladdin game was released for the Genesis and Mega Drive, and that game is very different from this one, and it was developed by another company, Virgin Games. Both of them were released in 1993. This Super Nintendo version of Aladdin was re-released for the Game Boy Advance in 2003 in Japan and 2004 in other regions. This game basically retells the story of the animated movie by its level designs and its cutscenes.
In order to read the writing on the old lamp, Aladdin rubs it with his sleeve and poof, poof, a genie appears and declares war. That Aladdin is his new master. But first, he invites Aladdin into the lamp.
To control Aladdin, move sideways with the D-pad, jump with B. You can hold Y to run while you're moving around. You can press A to throw apples that will stun some enemies and kill others. You've got a limited amount of apples to use, but you can collect more in the levels. Press and hold R to glide while you're falling. But in order to glide, you must first collect a cloth item on a level. To recover your health, you will collect food items like bread or chicken. Every time you collect 100 gem, you will get 1 extra health heart. You can get golden scarabs in the levels to unlock the possibility of betting on a roulette to try and win prizes.
Yes, let's go! Break time! 2 ups, let's do this.
Also, there are special red gems that you collect in the game that can unlock bonus levels. As I said, some enemies can be killed with the apples, but most enemies are killed by jumping on top of them, Mario style. You can bounce through poles and on top of enemies as well, and even pots. Basically, any interactive object you jump on, you can bump from it and do some parkour tricks. You can also grab on ledges, you can grab on sticks on the walls to do special jumps, and all those tricks makes for very diverse actions in platforming.
Hey.
This game's graphics look awesome for a 16-bit product. The animations flow well without sacrificing the gameplay. The gems you collect look really shiny. Basically, the levels of this game follow the main locations of the movie, except for the levels of the genie, which are unique and very fun, especially for their music. The level designs require the player to do many acrobatics with Aladdin and call for some platforming tech skills. I very much enjoy this approach, and I also couldn't help but imitate Mario's sounds while doing some of those parkour tricks.
Yahoo! Waka! Hee Yahoo!
However, in many moments you are required to jump gaps on the limit of your jump arcs, which feel very unsettling most often. There are 2 levels that are played in the flying carpet, and on them you only control your direction of flight. The one you spend with Jasmine is more like a relaxing bonus level for you to collect gems. But the other one is played in the fire stage, where you must avoid a wave of lava in the tight walls of the cave and falling rocks. I consider this to be the hardest level in the game, even harder than the last boss. The gameplay is mostly tight. It's not as precise as a Super Mario World, for example, but it's still very responsive. The 16-bit era saw many games built on Disney franchises, created by different developers. Their quality and style varied a lot because of that, and I feel Aladdin is one of my favorites. Some of those games sacrificed a tighter gameplay in order to have more detailed animations, which took too much frames and delayed some of the player's actions. I feel that's the case of Cold Shadow, for example, but not Aladdin. Capcom already knew how to deal with action games back then, and they nailed it gameplay-wise. The animations are still fluid, and the gameplay is tight. They strengthen the balance. This is a good game for Disney and side-scrolling platform fans who enjoy some challenge. If you fit in one of those categories, go ahead and search this game to play. It's worth it. It's not a very long game, but it's guaranteed to give you some fun.
Okay. Jump, Aladdin, please.
So we are the gaming generation. We've got memes, gameplays and reviews for you. Check out our Facebook page and our YouTube channel for awesome content. Also check out my personal Facebook and YouTube pages. There I post all sorts of gameplays almost every day. Check it out and have a blast, because I know you will. Bye bye!